Greetings, today on my Focus RS I am installing the fully made up rear upper control arms from Whiteline. Here we are then, the Whiteline rear upper control arms for the Focus RS that we will be installing today. They are brand new replacements for both sides then, with the Whiteline low compliance bushings all pre-installed, ready to go. So obviously the idea of getting these over just getting the bushings is that they have the bushings already in there. They are ready to be installed, as I said. It requires no additional work. We can just go and crack on, and they're really not that expensive. So, you know, the increase in price isn't that much, and I think it is totally worth paying a little bit extra to get the arms that are fully made up, as opposed to, you know, just getting the bushings and then having to like press them out and press them in and all that extra work. It really just seems like a lot more sense to get these fully made up arms, since Whiteline offer them, and they look really nice. Very similar black finish to the stock arms, and yeah. So it's going to be a nice upgrade from stock with the Whiteline synthetic elastomer bushings. Of course, the stock bushings are just soft rubber, and the ones that are on there have been on for a good number of years, and rubber does tend to break down. So it'll be nice for an upgrade, and also nice from a maintenance perspective to get the nice new bushings in, and indeed the nice new arms. I'm not entirely sure what the condition of the stock arms is presently, but it's obviously not going to be nice and brand new the way these are. So there's not really too much else to say. Both of these arms are identical because, you know, they just mirror and they're compatible with both sides, so you just buy two of the same arm. And then in the pack, again, it's very simple. You get the arm and you get a little sachet of high performance bushing lubricant, which is basically like liquid moly type of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just going to do a quick ceramic coat on here with some crystal serum light from G-Technic, and then we will be ready to get installation started. Alright, rear of the car in the air, wheel off here. As you can see, there are two fixing points, just two bolts that we need to remove, then replace the arm and then put the bolts back in. The first bolt is right here. It goes into the knuckle, and as you can see, it's fairly easily accessed. We do need to just be careful of this little electrical wire here, just in terms of getting in there, but that will require a 15mm, and 15mm socket is what we'll use there. But because that one is easier access, we're not worrying too much about that initially. I'm just going to worry more about the other one, which we have to get underneath here in order to see. So right underneath the car then, you can see that this is the arm right here, and the other bolt is right up there. Hopefully you can see it. So the reason why this is awkward is really because of like stuff that is around it. So I've got my finger just on the bolt right there, but like right beside it here is a piece of subframe, and that is going to make it very, very difficult to get a socket up there. Hopefully you can see it. It's like basically impossible. So gonna have to come up with a novel solution utilizing a regular spanner or wrench. And this is the proposed solution. So utilizing a regular wrench or spanner, which obviously is a lot thinner, so we can get it up and in and onto the bolt head, but that on its own isn't going to be quite enough, because obviously a regular spanner like this is kind of short and the torque is kind of high. It's I think 115, I need to just double check that, Newton meters from factory, so that's going to be very difficult just to get like through there. So what I have here is I have an extension bar. So essentially this clicks into that, so as you can see, that will extend that out quite a bit, allow us to get the amount of torque that we need to get that bolt loosened, and yeah, let's give that a go. Okay, so hopefully you can see this setup. I have it ready to start turning. Oh yeah. So then now I have it flipped around to the ratcheting side of my spanner, so we can just gradually get it up. So once we have this like reasonably loose, then we'll move over to the knuckle side. Okay, so this outboard one then, I'm going to use my breaker bar and a short extension just to clear the brake here, so that I can get a good swing with the breaker bar. Okay, so with a few turns on that, I will just switch over to the regular wrench. Okay, that's all the way out. There we go. So I'll just flip back to the other one and get it all the way out. Hopefully you can see that bolt there. It's out far enough, it's like completely off the threads, but it's just sort of catching a bit, just on the sort of inner edge of the bushing, I guess. So I'm just going to need to sort of tap it out of there. Well, finally got the second one out. That was pretty awkward, I will say. Pretty tough, very, very small space to work in. But yeah, perseverance, giving it a good old wiggle and all that. And yeah, eventually it comes out. Okay, so obviously that is the bolt side, but the arm is still in place. So we will need to give it a bit of a tap just to get it out. Okay, so I think it might be loosened now. Go under. Yeah, we're almost there. And we're out. Okay, now that we have it out, we can get a nice sort of close-up. So the existing bushings, they're not entirely like perished or anything, but you can sort of see that they're in sections as opposed to being a solid bushing. And then our new bushings, of course, are solid, and they are also, you know, not rubber, which these are. These are squishy, perishable rubber. The actual arm itself, overall not terrible. I mean, there's a few spots of rust here, probably a bit more on the ends, but you know, all in all, you know, it could be a lot worse. But yeah, now we can go and grab, well, I'll clean up the areas first and then I'll go and grab our new arm. And yes, side by side, it is quite satisfying just how nice and new this one is. So yeah, let's get it installed. Okay, so getting this back in, and the little sachet of lubricant that they give us, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit just on the outer edges here, just to help us get it seated nicely without any hassle. Then I am going to put some blue thread locker onto the bolt, pretty much just where you see the stock thread locker was, just to replace and replenish that. I'm going to do the more difficult rearward one first, get it nicely seated and nicely on the threads, and then we'll worry about the easier one afterwards. And yeah, let's get that in there. Okay, so I had to just turn the camera off there just because it got pretty awkward pretty quick. So in order to get this up and aligned, I had to do a couple of things that the camera was just kind of in the way of. So one of the things was I jacked up the lower arm just so that the whole knuckle assembly was sort of had a bit of weight sort of underneath it. Then I was using this pry bar and sort of like leveraging off of the knuckle. I was also protecting with a bit of old rag and sort of, you know, just going like that, and then also as well pushing this and just sort of doing that over and over again, you know, pry, pull, push, just to get it up and in and aligned. And then eventually I was able to get the bolt seated in place. So now it's just a case of tightening up. So I will hand tighten both and then we will talk about torque. Okay, we are nicely hand tight. So I just looked up the torque there. The upper one is actually 127 Newton meters, which, you know, given how we had to remove it, that basically means as tight as you can get it with the implement that you have. So I've got that one done already. And then this outward one right here is 115 Newton meters. Alright, cool. So with that done, that is this side done. So the other side is going to be basically the exact same process, so there's not really a lot of point in me showing it to you twice. So if you're doing this, just go ahead, do the exact same thing on the other side, and then that will be installation complete. So there we are then, that is the installation finished of the fully made up rear upper control arms from Whiteline on my Focus RS. The installation, you'd think that it would be pretty simple. 4 bolts, you know, 2 either side, come out, replace the arm, 2 in, tighten up and away you go. But it was admittedly a lot more awkward and fiddly and kind of, you know, just difficult to get everything aligned, and you know, that upper inner bolt, it's just really difficult to get out. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously doable. You just persevere and get the job done, and once it is done, it's quite satisfying, and I'm very happy with it. And yeah, I just have to go out and enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like it as much as I do. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more content to come very, very soon. Thank you once again. Goodbye.